Max Verstappen has reportedly made a massive decision that could change the future of Formula One. According to new rumors and reports coming directly from inside Red Bull, Verstappen is preparing to leave the team starting in 2026. This is a move many fans thought was impossible. Verstappen has been the face of Red Bull racing for years and is considered one of the most dominant drivers in F1 history. But recent developments within the team, growing frustrations and continued underperformance have apparently pushed him to seriously consider his options for the next stage of his career. The current situation inside Red Bull is far from ideal. The team that once ruled the grid with ease is now falling behind. McLaren, Ferrari, and even Mercedes seem to have found more speed and consistency, while Red Bull struggles with problems that were once unthinkable for a team of their caliber. Verstappen has kept quiet for some time, but after a miserable weekend at the Bahrain Grand Prix, he finally opened up. His words revealed the depth of his frustration. He said, "It was not up to our standard," after finishing sixth in a race where he started only seventh on the grid. These are not results a world champion is used to accepting, especially not Verstappen. The Bahrain weekend was a disaster. 2 terrible pit stops ruined any chance Verstappen had of a better finish. One of the stops was delayed due to a broken pit light, and the other was messed up by a poor tire change. Both errors cost him valuable seconds and position on the track. But even worse than the pit stop errors was the simple lack of pace. Verstappen felt the car was nowhere near fast enough. He admitted that the tire degradation was out of control and that the balance of the car was all wrong. According to him, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Verstappen didn't sugarcoat his assessment of the situation. He openly said that he doesn't feel like he's competing for the championship. Instead, he's just participating. That kind of statement from someone like Verstappen is alarming. He isn't someone who races just to make up the numbers. He's in Formula One to win, and if Red Bull can't provide him with a winning car, then it makes perfect sense why he would consider walking away, even though he is contracted with the team until 2028. One key detail is that Verstappen's contract includes a performance clause. This clause reportedly allows him to leave the team if Red Bull cannot provide him with a competitive car. Specifically, if he finishes outside the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship, he may be able to activate the clause and walk away. With the way things are going this season, that situation is becoming more and more likely. Even Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko has admitted the team is trailing its main rivals, and that the Bahrain result was a major wake-up call. The core issue seems to be that Red Bull's simulations and real-world performance are no longer in sync. The tools and data the team uses to predict how the car will behave on track are giving them the wrong information. Team principal Christian Horner confirmed this. He said the tools are leading the team in one direction, but when the car hits the track, the results are completely different. This kind of disconnect is devastating at the top level of motorsport. It's like trying to fix a problem you can't fully see or understand. Yuki Tsunoda, who drove the car in the simulator, even mentioned how different the real car feels on race weekends. The team's wind tunnel is also reportedly providing inaccurate guidance. Horner admitted that the wind tunnel is steering them down the wrong path, and when the car gets to the track, it simply doesn't perform as expected. This issue is not new. It started last season and has carried over into 2025, and Red Bull still hasn't fixed it. Verstappen's frustrations are completely understandable. He's been patient, but now he's reached a point where calm disappointment has turned into serious concern. He made it clear after Bahrain that while he continues to push and give his best, the lack of progress is unacceptable. His tone is calm, but his distance is clear. He's not throwing tantrums or storming out of meetings, but he is emotionally and mentally checking out. That is just as dangerous for Red Bull's future. The team held emergency meetings in Bahrain after the race. Top personnel, including Pierre Wache and Paul Monaghan, reportedly worked late into the night looking for solutions. They know what's at stake. If Verstappen leaves, it won't just be a big driver transfer. It will be an earthquake. Red Bull has already lost key technical staff recently, and if Verstappen also walks away, it could damage the team both in terms of performance and morale. He's not just a driver, he's the identity of the current Red Bull era. So where could Verstappen go? the most obvious choice is Mercedes. Team boss Toto Wolff has always admired Verstappen, and now, with Lewis Hamilton set to leave for Ferrari, in 2025, a top seat at Mercedes will be open. George Russell is already there, and young talent Andrea Kimi Antonelli is expected to join in the future, but Verstappen is Verstappen. If he's available, any team would try to make space for him. Mercedes offers Verstappen the chance to return to a top-level team with the resources to win championships. Despite their recent struggles, Mercedes has the money, the people, and the ambition to bounce back. And with the new regulations arriving in 2026, it could be the perfect time for Verstappen to lead a new project. Another strong option is Aston Martin. The team is growing fast and has big plans for the future. Most importantly, they've now brought in legendary designer Adrian Newey, and they'll be powered by Honda engines starting in 2026. Verstappen already has strong ties with both Newey and Honda from his Red Bull days. Joining Aston Martin would let him work again with familiar faces and help shape a team that is still on the rise. Ralf Schumacher has even said Aston Martin could be a great landing spot, calling it a new adventure for Verstappen. Then there's Ferrari, the most historic name in all of Formula One. Could you imagine a team with both Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen? That would be one of the most dramatic and explosive lineups in F1 history. It would be a dream team for fans and a nightmare for every other competitor on the grid. Ferrari has shown signs of improvement, and if they can continue on this path, they could be a serious option for Verstappen. The chance to drive for such an iconic team and possibly win a championship in red might be too tempting to resist. Meanwhile, Red Bull is under pressure like never before. Their focus now is to bring a major upgrade package to the next race in Imola. They believe these upgrades will help close the gap to McLaren and Ferrari and maybe even return them to winning form. But the big question remains, will it be enough to convince Verstappen to stay? If not, then the team faces the real possibility of losing the biggest star in the sport. Verstappen doesn't want to be a part of a team that's just trying to keep up. He wants to dominate. He wants to be in a car that can win races every weekend and fight for the championship from the first race to the last. That's what drives him. That's what made him the champion he is. If Red Bull can't give him that, he will find it somewhere else. The 2025 season is already shaping up to be one of the most dramatic in recent memory. Verstappen's potential. Exit has opened the door for a wild series of moves across the grid. Other drivers and teams are waiting to see what he does. If Verstappen leaves Red Bull, it could trigger a domino effect that changes the whole landscape of Formula One. Teams like Mercedes, Ferrari and Aston Martin would have to rethink their driver lineups, and other drivers would be affected too. This could easily become the craziest silly season in F1 history. We've seen major moves before, like Hamilton leaving McLaren for Mercedes or moving to Ferrari this year. But if Verstappen leaves Red Bull, that would top them all. It would be the biggest move of this generation. It would reshape the battle for championships in the years to come. In the end, it all depends on Red Bull.